let's talk a little bit about those encroachment issues, because let's say that there was a municipal stamp of compliance from 10 years ago. Everything was good, but there was an encroachment issue. Under current contracts, that has to be attended to.
They do, and usually if you see on title that there's a encroachment agreement in place, then that's been allowed to remain in place. But as a buyer, you want to make sure that you understand the terms of that encroachment agreement. Sometimes they'll say that the municipality can have it removed in 30 days. So we recently had one where the real estate agent didn't review that with their client, and then the client sees us and says, well, he actually had pulled it himself on Saturday or Sunday, then came in and called us and said, like, I never would have bought this house. I wouldn't have had a home inspection. I wouldn't have done anything if I knew that the city could tear it down. The nature of the issue was a small overhang of an eaves over a utility right-of-way. It will likely never, ever, ever be an issue.
Right.
But it's not our choice. It's not a real estate agent's choice. It's ultimately the buyer's choice of whether or not they want to put in an offer with that kind of situation. So we always encourage people, go through, like, make sure you sit down and understand everything that you're buying, because it's not just the pretty walls you're getting the whole kit and caboodle.
Is the city a lot less forgiving now than they were a few years ago?
Probably about the same. The city, on some things, are easy to work with. Some things they're a little more strict with, and part of it makes sense. So fences encroaching on the city property, they can be easier to deal with, but if you have a corner lot and there's potential of the fence blocking street views,
yes,
then they're going to be stricter on that, and that makes sense, because if you have a blind spot, people coming around a corner,
right,
there could be accidents and whatnot.
So it really depends everyone on its own merit.
Absolutely.
All right.
Yeah.
Jeff, is there anything else that we can add about the residential purchase contract?
I would just say, if there's any questions you have, any concerns, talk to your real estate agent about it. Make sure that they understand what it is that they're signing. And if there's still any questions, talk to the lawyer, because that's what we're here for. We're work with realtor, mortgage specialist, everyone working together. So a client has to focus on that one really horrible part of the transaction,
sure,
moving their stuff. Yeah. And that should be the hardest part for them.
It should be, yes. That's right.
Yeah.
Now, condominiums is a whole different animal.
It is. It's the same and different.
Principles are the same.
Principles are the same, but there's some things you want to pay attention to that you don't have to worry about with a house.
All right.
Parking stalls, storage lockers.
Titled or not titled.
And people forget that it could be titled, it could be assigned, it could be leased, it could be rented, or it could be first come, first serve. There's some buildings that have not enough stalls for everyone in the building.
Right.
And you may come home and have nowhere to park.
Yeah, the 5 o'clock rush, and it's like, hey, but I had that this morning.
Yes, yeah. So you want to just make sure that you understand, again, what it is that you're buying. And it's not to say that one is horrific and you shouldn't buy it, but you should know what it is that you're getting.
And that's really part of the due diligence on the part of the realtor, to ensure that they have had a complete examination of the condo documents.
Absolutely. So that I would never suggest buying a condo without knowing what it is you're getting. Because when you buy a condo, you're buying part of a whole corporation, and that
right,
condo corporation will have obligations and financing things that are important, and could be potential issues with stuff that's not your unit, but like a building envelope issue, which could cost each owner $50,000, $60,000, $80,000.
In terms of a special assessment that's handed down. Yeah. And then you have reserve fund issues. You want to make sure that there's enough in there.
Yes, that the day-to-day operations is enough money for it to go through. It might be great that there's a low condo fee, but if there's not enough money, it's going to have to come from somewhere.
That's right. And I look at all these condominium documents. You've got 24 with an option of a 25th condominium document that must be provided as part of the purchase contract offer.
The buyer really needs to understand what it is they're buying, and those documents allow it. Because you can't always see a physical representation of the good and bad in a condominium corporation.
No, you don't want to know what's going on, and so you want to take a look at the minutes of the condominium.
Absolutely.
Because that could give you some insight as to what's coming down the pike.
Right, so if there's a minute in a meeting that says, oh, we have to replace all the roof and the siding and there's not enough money, would be a very different building to buy. The one that says, we have so much extra money, maybe we'll kick money back to the owners.
Sure.
Which happens sometimes.
It does.
It does, yeah.
Okay, well, that's good to know. Anything else about condo purchase agreements?
Those are the big ones. So just making sure that that's tied in. In the unattached goods, I would always suggest putting in the key fobs, because those can be expensive, and garage door openers and things like that. But yeah, in terms of what you're getting, it's a condo, and you want to make sure that you understand the nature of it, because there can be a condominium that looks like a house, and it is a house,
yes,
or a townhouse, but it's not a house or a townhouse, it's a condominium.
A bare land condo.
Exactly. So you want to make sure that you know what it is that you're buying.
Having said all of this today, these contracts, anything can be changed. Well, not anything, but
Whole thing,
whole
absolutely.
thing can be
The
changed.
whole thing is negotiable. Every single part. You could throw in that we're not going to do this. We can throw in you have to give me a banana split on possession day. Everything is negotiable.
All right. Jeff, final word.
Enjoy the process. It's a very emotional one. I joke that people will go to IKEA 20 times before they pick out a bed, and within 15 minutes of walking in a house, maybe they'll look at it for another 20 minutes on a second viewing. They're writing the offer. It's exciting. It's an emotional thing, and that's a good thing. Enjoy it, but also take that step back just to really understand what you're getting. Even when you're going through a house, like look at the walls. Like people don't notice the dings and the dips and the stains, and they take possession, move in, and then they see it. It's better to just take that extra time and try to remember, this is something that's important to us. It's a big purchase. Let's you don't have to be overly cautious, but also inform yourself along the way. And it doesn't take a long time, but it's the important little things that count.
And it should also be the job of a good realtor to let their client know that there may be some additional dings or whatever, once the place has been vacated.
Absolutely. And I heard once that someone said, everyone should assume they're going to have to repaint when they take possession.
Yeah.
Now, it doesn't matter how clean a place is. You're always going to want to scrub out the kitchen cabinets, because that just seems to be people's nature.
And the bathtub.
And the bathtub. But if you have concerns, like the carpet should be steam cleaned or something, put that in the contract. And that's part of the negotiation process.
Jeff, thanks very much.
Thanks for having me.
Jeff Kahane from Kahane Law Office.